about that place. Even your emotion had an echo in so much space. When you're out there without care, I was out of tone. But it wasn't because I didn't know, no. I just knew too much. Does that make me crazy? Does that make me crazy? Does that make me crazy? Possibly. I hope that you're having the time of your life. Think twice. That's my only advice.
Well, let's talk about it. You know, the thing about these Shure mics is that when you burst into the mic, there's a bit of, there's a bit of lag. So you have to ease on up the mic. Okay, you have to sort of, mosey. Do you know what it means to mosey? Johnny Lesnar, I see you. Bless you. One of my dear friends on TikTok, Johnny Lesnar, he's always so supportive of the show. Thank you, Johnny. Guys, let's talk about this. Couple of, shout outs to you guys. How are you? I'm doing great. I'm doing well. I'm asking for your line, Simon. It's right there. What's the name of this track? I need to get that for you at some stage. Happy Thursday. Guys, we're in the throes of a visit. Many of you know that the United States Vice President Kamala Harris, some say Kamala, others say Kamala. Both are correct. Both are fine to say. We have had the privilege, we have the honor as a nation to receive Vice President Kamala Harris, who's going to be here in less than 72 hours. If she isn't already here. And when I say here, I'm talking about here in Lusaka, Zambia, the capital city of Zambia. I can't remember the last time a United States vice president came to visit us. Now, as many of you know, Vice President Kamala Harris has a bit of history in Zambia. She has some roots here, and we're very proud to know that. And naturally, anytime you have a high-profile political figure like Kamala Harris coming to your country, it attracts a lot of attention. Some good, some bad. Some positive, some negative. And that's just the name of the game. It's called politics, okay? You can't dot all the I's and you can't cross all the T's. It's not everything in politics is linear. Okay, that means not everything is in a straight line. So naturally, you'll get that, and that's fine. One of the major concerns that the Zambian public had, and I think this is, and I know that the current President Hakainde Hichilema, alluded, and he made mention of this yesterday. He said that one of the most detrimental vices in terms of denting democracy and all things democracy is social media. And as you know, there was this talk on social media that this summit, this democratic summit was anchored on the issue of promoting homosexuality, which is completely wrong. I mean, that's not true. The Democratic Summit, it has got nothing to do with that. Our understanding is that this current government has made its position very clear on the issue of homosexuality. So that is not the hook. Vice President Kamala Harris has not jumped on a plane, traveled 10,000 miles from the United States to come to Zambia to sit at a table with President Hichilema and say, what are you doing about the homosexuals? That's not the conversation, okay? The conversation is about the tenets of democracy. Now, let's be clear. Democracy being what it is not in its purest form in any country. This is the reason in America they call it striving towards a more perfect union, because there are elements of democracy that are not perfect. And over time, all you can do is add, improve. That's it. There's never a destination. There'll always be kinks. There will always be blemishes in the system. The goal, the idea is to create a more perfect union. And I want to, for a moment, before I get to the controversy of today, because, you know, there were a couple of jokers that met today. They delivered a letter of complaint to, my understanding was that they went to the American embassy. Now, this group of misfits that staged this quasi-protest were led by a sex offender, a child molester by the name of Chilufya Tayali. And I find it curious and interesting that here it is a man who stands on the highest hill, and I posted this a few minutes ago, but it bears repeating, and I think it's important for us to get context. I find it curious and a bit disingenuous for a man who wants to tout all things democracy, and yet he's got his personal demons that he is unable to deal with. A sex offender, a child molester that stands on a mountaintop in the name of Chilufya Tayali, and he says, oh, Kamala Harris is not welcome here. It doesn't gel. And you know the old saying, if it's not gelling, then it's not Jello. So before I get into that, let me for a moment quote the United States ambassador to Zambia, Mr. Michael Gonzalez. He's new here. He just recently arrived. But he said something that I want to refer to, and I think that we should use this as a reference point. It's going to help us sort of get a clearer picture of where we are and where we want to go as a nation and what democracy means within the African context. Ambassador Gonzalez said, it is not for the United States to prescribe anything for any other country. We do this as a partnership. He goes on to say, we have had 100 years of trial and error, good successes and miserable failures in our experience of democracy. And again, I have to go back to that old American call, that clarion call towards a more perfect union. What the American ambassador here is saying is that they haven't always had it right. I mean, history is strewn. History is replete with a multiplicity of multitudinous tens of examples where America and the Western world have got it wrong on several occasions. I mean, that's a fact. There's nothing ambiguous. There's nothing doubtful about that. There is no ambiguity there. We know that. But what we're striving for and what Africa should strive for is this idea that we can attain a more perfect union. Very difficult to do, but not impossible to achieve. Ooh, that's a good one. Okay, so let's keep our eye on the ball, as the Americans say. Let's not deviate. Okay, it's not easy, but let's strive for a more perfect union. I also find it curious, and let me go back to this group of misfits that were led by this sex offender and child molester, Chilufyate Ali, where he said he delivered a letter to Vice President Kamala for Vice President Kamala's against Vice President Kamala's visit to Zambia. I'll get it right in a moment. So everything that he did today with his group, there was no reprieve. There was no backlash. There was no retribution. He did what he did under the cloud, under the umbrella of democracy. Something that he was not able to do under the previous regime. Let's not lose sight of that. Let's never gloss over that fact. Let's never act as if we have just come out of an era of brutal oppression by a party called the Patriotic Front, aka the notorious Patriotic Front. Here it is, this child molester, this sex offender staged a protest, and he knows good and hell well that he would not have been able to do that under the Patriotic Front, aka the notorious Patriotic Front. In Bemba, we say, Mule tashia, mwe finangwa mwe. Mule tashia. Okay? So here it is, and I know that's a political statement, but take that as you may. That's my position, and I'm going to stick to that. So let me also make mention of Fred Membe. Fred Membe has gone on a rampage where he talks about how America has no moral right to tout the tenets of democracy. Well, again, Fred Membe is a politician that wants to gain mileage from this issue. So take it as that. Take it for what it's worth. He's a politician, okay? And I find it curious that he wants to preach this idea of socialism, and yet every bone in his body is a capitalist bone. I mean, it's the strangest thing. It's like a Muslim saying, "I don't eat pork," but then every Saturday night you see him at the hog house chomping it up. It doesn't make any sense, guys. So let's not lose sight of that. Vice President Kamala Harris is going to come here. She's going to do her thing. She's going to go back to the States, and life is going to go back to normal. Now, here's the thing. Not that it wasn't normal before she showed up. What my point is, for all of you that are making a big noise about this, that, and the other, you're only doing it to garner attention. That's all. And you are not genuine in your pursuit. You're not. Everything is geared and designed to present a picture that doesn't exist. You know just as well as I do that in terms of democracy, we may not be perfect, but we are a whole lot better than where we were in the last regime. And you know that to be true. Boom. That's what I had to tell you. I had to get that off my chest. Because these jokers think that once they create these storms in their teacups, they think that nobody will retort. When they push, they think that nobody will push back. Well, honey, you push, we push back. You argue, we argue. That's just the way it is. It's democracy, is what it is. All right. A couple of comments I'm going to highlight. Okay. Here we go. I'm trying to choose one here. Oh, dear. You guys are something else, boy. I tell you. You guys are something. You are something. Here, let me just highlight. Mhm. All right, here's a view. I'll highlight this. America and Europe benefit from us being apart. They will turn us against each other the moment they see us working together. Useless people, somebody said. Well, that's your opinion and you're entitled to it. That's your view and you're entitled to it. Okay. Somebody says, "Can I come for?" Oh, no, I don't teach English. Okay. Well articulated. Thank you so much. Hey, guys, thank you for watching. God bless. Have a great day. We'll see you again.